Hey guys, I am Dani. Welcome back to Summer Skye Gardens. Now in today's video, I wanted to talk to you all about zinnias. Zinnias are probably one of my all-time favorite flowers to grow for many different reasons, which I'll explain to you shortly. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share it. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Now right now we are right before zinnia planting time, so I don't have any to show you right this second, but I'm going to show you some pictures and footage from last summer, which was probably my best year growing zinnias out of the years that I've done them. But where I live in the south, I'm in North Houston, which is zone 9A, and we get really long, hot, dry, humid summers, dry in which there's no rain, but the humidity is really high. The zinnias just love it. They don't mind the humidity and they just love the heat. So they're probably one of the best choices for just decoration with flowers in your landscaping in your garden, as well as cut flowers. They make a truly excellent cut flower. You can get them to last, you know, anywhere from 7 to 14 days in a vase, depending on when you pick them. So excellent cut flower, super easy to grow, very disease resistant. So that's why they're one of my faves. Now last year I only grew 3 different types of zinnias and they were pretty much all planted in my front landscaping. This year I'm growing 15. So the 3 that I grew last year, as well as I saved seeds from 3 flowers in particular. So I have started those already and I'm interested to see how those are going to look this year. And then I have all these other varieties that I'm trying out. I'm only growing 1 of each because I only have so much room. I'm going to put them out in my front landscaping again, and then I'm also going to put them back here in the butterfly garden area. Now a few tips on starting zinnias and growing them. So first thing, they don't like the cold. So you want to wait until your last frost has passed. For us here, that's usually the first week or 2 of March to sow them outside. Now, if you want to get a head start on the season like I do, you can always start your seeds about 6 to 8 weeks ahead of time indoors, which is what I've been doing. And I've always started them from seed, but they do totally fine either way. So start them indoors or wait until your last frost has passed and then direct sow them outside. Now you can grow zinnias fairly close together, but just be warned that they can get big and bushy, and depending on what variety, they can get really tall. So you want to really pay attention to the variety you have as for how much space it needs around them and how tall they're going to get. And of course, the closer that you plant them together, the more likely you are to get disease and fungus. Probably the biggest issue that most people, including myself, have with zinnias is powdery mildew. That can be a big problem for us with our humidity. I hadn't had any trouble with it until last year, and that's because mine were planted pretty close together. So I did have some powdery mildew going on, but because I'm not selling cut flowers at this moment, I didn't really care. You couldn't really tell unless you got right up on the plant and it was towards the bottom. But the more airflow you can give around them, then the less chance you will have for powdery mildew. Now, once you've got them planted, you're going to want to water them fairly regularly until they're really up and growing. But after that, they're very drought resistant. So you just want to make sure they're getting like an inch of water a week, which for us, usually we get enough rainfall, but I do set my sprinklers to water them once a week if I don't get enough, but they can handle dry conditions fairly well. As for fertilizing, you don't necessarily have to fertilize them. I have found if I give them a little bit, maybe like once a month, it will kind of encourage some more blooms. Other things that will encourage more blooms is when your seedlings are about 6 inches tall, you want to come through and pinch them, which means you're going to snip the tops off right above a set of leaves, and that will encourage the plant to grow more branches from the bottom and get bushy and create more blooms. I have grown them without doing this and with pinching, and believe me, pinching is totally worth it. So make sure you catch them early and do that, and they will grow really big and bushy and give you a lot more blooms. Another thing that will encourage more blooms is deadheading. So when you come through and you see a flower is really starting to fade, snip it off. That will encourage more blooms from the plant. If you really want to get taller stems, especially if you're using them for cutting, don't just snip the top where the flower is. get really down deep on the branch, and that will encourage more branching and more flowers that will have longer stems and will be more useful as cut flowers. So another good thing about zinnias is they're deer resistant, they're fairly pest resistant, and they are very beneficial for pollinators. The bees and the butterflies love them. I always have a ton of pollinators around my zinnias, so it's a great plant to incorporate in your landscaping or your garden to help encourage those bees and butterflies to come visit. And then one other thing for growing zinnias, depending on how tall they get, they may need staking or corralling depending on where you're growing them. When I had mine in my front landscaping, some of them were getting 4 to 5 feet high. So as they were growing, I started putting bamboo stakes and using plant Velcro to attach them, and that really helped. But we did get a few windstorms that came in and knocked some over, broke some branches. Oh well. I know people that grow these for cut flowers that usually have big beds or rows. They will use a corral method where they get something like twine and put it around the outside to kind of help hold them up. And there you have it. That's kind of it. Like I said, zinnias are super easy to grow. They make a great addition for your landscaping and your garden. They're beneficial for pollinators. They make an excellent cut flower. They do amazingly in hot, humid climates. So if you're anywhere in the South and you want something with color that can withstand our summers down here, then you need to choose zinnias. Let me show you some footage about how mine looked from last year, and I'll go through some of the different varieties that I'm growing this year.
Fresh start.